fascinating, interesting debate show is live in the huddle.
Are you ready? Are you hype? It's going down. Boxing, welterweight action. Okay, two of the top 5 welterweights in the world is going at it on Saturday at AT&T Stadium. We are talking Errol Spence Jr. We are talking Yordenis Ugas. It's going down. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the breakdown. All right, cool. Now, with that being said, I just want to start off, all right? I have an epiphany, okay? Shout out to Tiffany, but I got an epiphany, okay? You know, I just think that a lot of people need clickbaits, right? Maybe I'm wrong for this. All right, let me slow it down a little bit. Zay, let me bring this up to you, okay? And the listeners. I think a lot of people, when it comes to Errol Spence, they feel that you're talking about the car accident, okay? You're talking about the eye injury, you're talking about facial lacerations, dental work, okay? You're talking about eye coordination and everything, and just everything with the eye. I'm not a scientist, so maybe I'm saying it wrong, okay? Excuse me. I ain't go to school for that. But there's a lot of things going on with Spence in his life over the last couple years. And I think a lot of people really feel that, I don't know, man, maybe I'm out on Spence. Maybe the injuries have caught up to Spence. But I'm not going to lie. From what I saw in the Danny Garcia fight, when he clearly won that fight and dominated that fight, okay, when I was watching the Spawn video, okay, I saw the dude, he looked good in shape, all right, he really looked in shape, okay. I'm looking at him in the press conference today, the final press conference. I'm like, bro, this brother look like Simba, okay. You talking about what? Like, he been in a car accident, what? You know what I'm saying? Ejected 40 feet in the air, what? He doesn't look like that. The brother look like Simba. I think we need to pause, okay, when talking about Errol Spence's health. The brother is fine. If I could look like that, I would like to look like that, okay? Errol Spence is fine. The brother look like Simba. I don't think there's nothing wrong with Errol Spence Jr., other than maybe he have a few nagging, injuries from the past. But other than that, I think he's locked in. I think he's ready to go. I watched a couple of his videos, the one with Brian Cluster. He looks like he's in a great space. Okay, he's farming now. He's a farmer. We got to call him Farmer Spence. I mean, the guy's in a good space mentally. I think if we have any doubt or any issues about his health in this fight, I think we could hit the pause button, until we see something otherwise. I think he already proved to me that he has the right mentality, that even when he's fresh off a car accident, the brother didn't look good going against Danny Garcia. That was from, I'm talking about, looking the way how he looked. The guy still had bruises. Okay, going into that matchup, and he just looked off, and he still dominated that match. He doesn't look that same way right now. He looks fine and just like a newborn baby. But nevertheless, switching over, there's nobody in the welterweight division, in my honest opinion, that has improved as a fighter as much as Yordenis Ugas over the last couple fights. Mm-hmm. All right, when you talk about having back-to-back losses and then just switching it up, and also having a war with Sean Porter that was back and forth, who a lot of people picked Ugas to win or thought he won. I thought Porter did enough, 115 to 113 to edge him out. There was a controversial no knockdown for some people that thought that, upon watching the tape and seeing it live. And also just the boxing display that he put against the great Manny Pacquiao, which I kind of knew stylistically and realistically that wasn't a good matchup for Pacquiao because of Ugas' size and his ability to control the jab and keep Pacquiao at bay just by jabbing. You're talking about a guy with a Cuban boxing style. Okay, they have a good boxing technique over there, them Cubans out here, I like Luis Ortiz and things of that nature. So he's a very good fighter. He's a very skillful fighter. I think it's going to make for a very, very, very good fight that's going to go the distance. When I look at Spence and his ability to walk the fighters down, I think he's a strong welterweight that's possibly going to move up. I think, me personally, my prediction is that the first 3 rounds, it's going to be a chess match because I don't think both fighters are going to be itching to win the fight in the first 3 rounds. Okay, This is not Deontay Wilder we talking about here. All right, that's trying to knock you out early in the fight. We're not talking about heavyweight boxing right now. We are talking about a chess match with 2 smart elite fighters. Okay, Spence, he knows how to adjust his game plan. That's one thing that makes Spence very, very unique. When he fought Sean Porter, he adjusted to Sean Porter's style. That was a Sean Porter fight as far as, who dictated what. It was a bang. All right, they were banging each other out, and Spence outbanged Sean Porter at his own fight. All right, Mikey Garcia, he wanted to fight a certain way. Spence was like, all right, we'll fight your way, and I'm going to beat you at it and dominate and win every single round. So Spence has that ability. So where you guys say, listen, I'm going to dictate the fight, Spence is like, all right, cool. I'll let you dictate the fight. I'll beat you at it. Whether it's boxing. If you want to box, we can box. If you want to bang, we can bang. Now, if I'm you guys, the one thing I may do is bang. The reason why I may bang, and I know he's a counter puncher, is because Spence allegedly is banged up. So you may want to bang the banged up. And I think if Spence bangs back, a counter puncher, you can walk into something. You can give something and get something in return that may count you out. But overall, before I send it out to you, the first 3 rounds is going to be a chess match. The middle rounds and the later rounds is going to be a back and forth. Ally Kell Brook and Spence, ally Sean Porter and Spence. I can see that in the back end. So overall, my predictions, I'm going to go with Errol Spence to win this fight via unanimous decision. I think Ugas is going to give him all he can handle for 12 rounds. I think Ugas is going to have his moments. I think that, it's going to be back and forth. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Spence because I just believe that he's just a better fighter. I believe that should have been his moment against Manny Pacquiao. That was meant to be a crossover. Okay, that was a strategic plan, conspiracy theory alert. That was a strategic plan for Manny Pacquiao to say, here you go, the crown is yours. Okay, I'm walking out. I don't think Pacquiao thought he was going to win that fight. Okay, at all. I think it was more so Pacquiao, I'm passing the torch to a young welterweight, and I'm out and I'm retiring, and he was supposed to take that crown. Unfortunately, life happens, the universe happens. He had the eye injury, and that became Ugas' moment. And now Spence has that ability to take that moment back, and I think he will Saturday night.
I think, and I 100% like the breakdown you just had, because that was actually great. The way you broke down the first 3 rounds. It's going to be a chess match, and people are not going to really, they're going to try to fill each other out for the first 3 rounds, see where their strategies are, where they're going to dictate the fight. And then later on in the fight, we're going to see more of the brawlers and more of the who's going to kind of take over in a sense, who's going to dictate the pace moving forward. I like the way you broke that down. In my opinion, I think Ugas has turned around completely, but I think for the wrong reasons. I feel like the fighters he's fought were out of their prime or weren't ready for that moment for when you guys fought them. I think you guys climbed the ranks quickly with guys who are out of their prime, guys who weren't ready, really ready to fight you guys in a sense. Like they weren't really mentally prepared to fight this guy because they didn't see how hungry he was. It was kind of like, all right, there's a tune-up. We're going to get ready for the big fights kind of sense when I see a you guys. And I think when right now, you guys are 35 years old. He has a slower reach. He has the lower reach at 69 inches and, Errol Spence is at 72. I think we're going to see a lot of jabs from Errol Spence throughout the entirety of his fight. Similar to what happened with Mike Garcia. When Mike Garcia tried to get close, he jabbed him to death. You're not going to get close to me. He tried to do it with Sean Porter, but Sean Porter was more elusive, and he got into Errol Spence's face multiple times. So Spence had to muscle him a little bit more, opposed to just jabbing him all the fight. I think you guys is going to kind of sense during like the 6th, 7th round that like, what am I getting myself into kind of moment, because there'll be nothing but jabs and more jabs. Like, stay away from me. You're just going to keep getting hit with the jab. You could throw whatever you think you could throw, but that's all you're going to be getting hit with for 12 rounds straight. And I think you guys, he has a great story. He beat Manny Pacquiao with beautiful on a resume. That's going to be, and you're going to be in the history books for ages just for beating Pacquiao for the title, for sure. But you have to find a real strategic plan to beat Errol Spence. Many guys have tried to beat him. Many great fighters have tried to fight win against Errol Spence, and none of them have succeeded, unfortunately. So we have to see how this is going to work out for Ugas, because Ugas is a fighter who's unorthodox in a sense. He's not the casual fighter, the guy who just goes in there, punches to the body, to the head. He kind of gets in your space in very unique ways that challenge fighters to adapt on the spot. And I think Errol Spence is that fighter who adapts on the spot completely, opposed to just being a counter puncher. The guy knows the ring, and he knows what's on his opponent's weakness before the opponent even shows it, in a sense. So I like Spence winning this fight, but it's beyond just winning the fight, because you have to hit this fight is going to solidify his welterweight legacy. I know a lot of guys like, oh, he has to fight Crawford to solidify. And like, no. That fight is already done. At this point, Spence to just move up and wait and fight the next guy, because that Crawford fight is never going to happen. And if it does happen, it's too late.
Look no further than Keith Thurman. And I'm the only person that brought this up. Literally, I watch boxing videos 10 times a day. I have not seen no boxing analyst, so-called, talk about this. Well, let's go back to the time when Spence was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, right? Before he got hurt. Ugas was on the undercard, right? And he was fighting somebody else on the undercard, okay? And Keith Thurman had an opportunity, okay? And I'm glad that I'm bringing this up because I also had another point that I could not remember, and it's going to lead into the point that I now remember. But anyway, Keith Thurman was supposed to fight. Well, not supposed to, but he was asked, about fighting you guys potentially under that Manny Pacquiao undercard, so we can kind of see if Keith Thurman potentially can get his rematch with Manny Pacquiao because, that's something he wanted. He wanted that rematch. And I think Keith Thurman dropped the ball with that loss of Pacquiao. I think it kind of ruined him a little bit. Like, had he beat Pacquiao, Keith Thurman would have got a big fight by now. Okay, that was a big drop of the ball, fumble on the 1 yard line for Keith Thurman. But nevertheless, he had an opportunity to fight on the undercard of Manny Pacquiao, the fight Ugas. Okay, so he can try to get that fight with Pacquiao. He turned that down. Okay, he had no interest in getting in there with Ugas. And I think there's a reason for that. And that's because Ugas is a tough opponent. And you know why? This is going to come back to defeat Keith Thurman and why he's the sickest man in boxing right now. Because, remember, Spence got hurt. They pulled Ugas up from that undercard to fight Pacquiao. Now, had Keith Thurman took that fight, and we thought we getting Keith Thurman and what's the name, Ugas, who knows? They could have pulled Keith Thurman up and said, here's your rematch with Manny Pacquiao. But no, he didn't want to put himself in that predicament because Ugas was so dangerous. And now Ugas got called like, yo, you want to take this fight with Pacquiao? Well, he going to say no? No, he took that. Biggest payday of his life. And he won. Okay, so that's why Keith Thurman is sick right now. And, that's why when you duck boxes, sometimes you duck your own blessings in disguise. So now, another point tying that together was Ugas took the Pacquiao fight on short notice, bro. Like, he was on the undercard preparing for somebody else. You getting called to fight the biggest fight of your career on short notice. Okay, and this is multiple times that Ugas had a short training camp. All right, with a short opponent that he just knew and he had to prepare for, and he rose to the equation every time. Now he has a full training camp with Spence. It's no, oh, you on the undercard. Oh, Spence opponent is injured. We need you to fight Spence. No, it's a whole training camp. And I think that having a whole training camp and not half and part training camp could do wonders for you guys. I think he's going to be well prepared. I think this fight is going to be very interesting. Would you say to that?
Well, I say that it goes both ways because when an opponent comes up last minute, it's not only the Ugas that doesn't know the opponent doesn't know Ugas either. So it's not like Pacquiao has seen Ugas his whole career. It's like, I know his tendencies, I know this, that, third. Because boxers, so even though Floyd likes to say, yeah, I don't know, I don't watch film, I don't watch tape on nobody. Boxers need to watch tape on the guys that fighting because they have to see what tendencies they lean on. Do they roll their shoulder when they're about to throw a hook? Do they dip a little to the right when they're about to throw the overhand? There's a lot of different aspects of boxing that you see these little tendencies, and sometimes it's a fraction of a second that changes the whole fight. Now, when you're looking at Ugas, right, and we've seen his fights, we see he's a tremendous fighter for sure. But like you stated, a lot of his fights are short notice. From what we've seen him against other guys, a lot of them are short notice. He just comes up, fights the guy because we know Ugas knows the talent he possesses, and he knows when he can walk down an opponent because the opponent doesn't know what they're going to throw at him. So the guy could just easily, fight. And sometimes when you're overpowering, it's not easy to just readjust and change up your fighting stance or fighting game plan because when the guy's overpowering, you can't do much. Like Pacquiao, at the end of his career, essentially, is not in no kind of real stance to just make a quick adjustment. We seen him lose to a Jeff Horn, and that was a robbery. It was a robbery. Right. Pacquiao should have won that fight, but clearly. But Jeff Horn was. I think I'm saying his name wrong too. Yeah, Horn, you got it. Horn was overpowering Pacquiao. So Pacquiao can only do what he knows how to do, which is fight, get in close and fight. But Horn was overpowering him, doing a lot of illegal moves, to say the least, or overpowering him, let's say the least. So he was just overpowering him over and over and over again. You guys was doing that to Pacquiao. I don't know with a full training camp that Spencer's gonna walk in and say, I don't know what you guys are gonna throw at me. I think he kind of has a clear consensus of what he's gonna try to accomplish in this fighting with the game plan. And I think Spence is just knowledgeable enough to know that I'm just gonna jab him up because if anything, I can just jab him all fight. I'll try some things and I'll try to get him out here early. but nine times out of 10, I could jab him the whole fight and keep him at a distance. He did it with Garcia. He tried to do it with Porter. He did it with Danny Garcia, excuse me. He did it with Mikey Garcia too. And so on and so forth. It's not gonna be like a walk down fight, like Spence is gonna walk all over him for 12 rounds. But the jab is gonna be heavily utilized in this fight. I don't know if you guys has an answer for that, in my opinion.
I mean, that's a fair point. That's a fair comeback there. You know what I'm saying? I know I had you on the ropes and you trying to battle your way out there with the the counter argument to my point about having short training camps. But needless to say, you can argue that with Pacquiao that it was just a bad matchup anyway. With Ugas, like I said, utilizing a guy that can jab like that and keep Pacquiao off base with his size and using his size as a tool and a metric to keep the shorter Pacquiao at bay, who's trying to have these bursts of spurts where he comes forward and throws those punches at a high, usage rate, but at the same time, it's not connecting because you have him at bay and he's just over there and at his old age and coming off a layoff too. So, that's a solid point, but I cannot deny that having a full camp for Errol Spence fight is a bonus. I think that we can agree there that having a full training camp instead of a short training camp for the biggest fight of your life is a big bonus, and we'll see what he does with that.
The Can You Dig It Sports Radio Network is here. Revolutionize the game of media. Be a dig.